The women's movement has gained a lot of attention in recent years in the US and in countries around the world. As you heard in the last lecture, the women's movement has inspired many women to fight for equal rights and treatment in their homes, their personal relationships, and at work. It has also forced many women to examine and rethink the roles they play in society. However, not only have women begun to examine and rethink the roles they play at home and work, and in a modern society as a whole, but men also have begun to examine and rethink the roles they play in society, and to examine and rethink the various and changing roles they must play at home and work today. Men have also begun to react in both positive and negative ways to the new expectations they must meet at home and work. Some men are adjusting well to the new roles they must play as more and more women enter the job market. And some men are pleased that their wives and partners have jobs outside the home. However, some of the rules change men are having to make to accommodate their working wives and girlfriends. And some of the new expectations concerning their masculinity are causing some of them a good deal of stress, anger, and confusion. Some men are even asking the question, what does it mean to be a real man in today's world? Many are confused about how they should treat women, whether these women are their female colleagues at work, their friends, or their wives. Some feel they are no longer kind of the couple at home as a result of this confusion and unhappiness and contemporary called the men movement has sprung up alongside the women's movement in the United States. Men in the movement seek to provide one another with the support they need to cope with the stresses and strains of being a man in today's world, and to cope with the stresses and strains brought about by the professional advance made and the personal freedom won by women in many countries over the past few decades.
Some women view the men's movement as a backslash against the professional advances women have made and the personal freedom that have won. As a result of the women's movement, many men and many women also see the men's movement as men's need to form a brotherhood for physical support, just as women have formed support groups with other women. Others see the men's movement and men's attempt and need to understand more fully what it means and takes to be a real man. At the start of the 21st century, when traditional definitions of manhood are changing and are under attack in many countries around the world.
To begin this discussion of some of the catalysts for the men's movement, I'll say just a few words about why some women consider the men's movement a reaction against the women's movement. What they well known, author Susan Faludi, calls the backlash against the women's movement. Mrs. Faludi suggests that some men feel that women are becoming too independent and powerful today as a result of the professional advances they have made in the workplace and because of the personal freedom they have gained in their family and personal relationships. She notes that the resentment of some men toward women gaining power is not a recent phenomenon. More than 1,900 years ago, the women of Rome tried to repeal a law that forbade them from riding a horse drawn chariot and from wearing multicolored dresses. In 195 BCE, The woman Senator Cato expressed the fear and concern that the women of Rome had become so powerful that the independence of the men of Rome had been lost in their homes and was being trampled underfoot in public. In her book titled Backlash, the Undeclared War Against American Women, Susan Faludi points out that many men today still resent women's progress in becoming independent, personally and professionally. Faludi notes that a 7-year survey of American male attitudes in 1980s found that no more than 5 to 10% of the men surveyed genuinely supported women's demands for independence and equality. It's unlikely that this attitude has not changed much today.
Although some women view the men's movement as a backlash, many others see the men's movement as something that is good for both men and women. They see it as men's need to for brotherhood, for physiological support to protect their rights and personal freedoms, even as a women form support groups with other women to protect and advance their rights. They think, for example, that women should not automatically be given custody of children when a divorce occurs, and yet this is what often happens in the United States today. Finally, some authorities relate the development of men's movement to the confusion created by the crisis of masculinity in contemporary society and the many changing image portrayed in the popular media of who and what real men are and how they are supposed to act. If you watch American movies, you might find yourself asking, is the real man, for example, a sensitive guy like Dustin Hoffman, suicide? Is she an involving dad like Robin Williams, Mr. Doubtfire, or the father played by Stephen Martin in Parenthood? A macho man like Arnold Schwarzenegger plays in The Terminator, or is she a caring nurse like the man Schwarzenegger play in Kindergarten Cop? Many men are researching for answers to this question and are often to find answers from the leaders of the men movement.
Many never got to see the fruits of their labor, as farmers and craftsmen usually do. Many men in the post-industrial revolution era have become more caught in the machine of industrial America. In addition, the changes from a farm to an industrial society meant that instead of supporting their family by working near their homes as farmers, craftsmen, or small business owners, the majority of